Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. 4 years after Muhammadu Sanusi II was deposed as the Emir of Kano, Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State has reinstated him to the throne. This decision followed the Kano State House of Assembly's resolution to dethrone the current emir and also dismantle the 4 new emirates in the state established under a controversial 2019 law. The restructuring of the Kano Emirate is seen as a political maneuver to diminish the influence of then Emir Sanusi II, a vocal critic of the former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje's administration. The creation of the new Emirates fragmented the authority of the old Kano Emirate Council, diluting its powers and influence. Meanwhile, some operatives of the Department of State Services were spotted at the palace of the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Adobayero, on Thursday, amid growing rumors of the Emir's imminent deposition. This development follows the passage of the Kano State Emirate Council Amendment Law Repeal Bill 2024 by the Kano State House of Assembly on Thursday morning. The Kano State Emirate Council Amendment Bill was considered on the floor of the House after scaling second and third reading on Thursday morning. The Assembly dissolved all 4 newly created Emirate Council in the state. Now, away from that, about 6 cabinet ministers have presented their performance scorecards to Nigerians as part of the May 29th first-year anniversary celebration of the current administration. The ministers from the Federal Capital Territory Administration, Youth Development, Steel Development, Petroleum Resources for Oil, Defense and Solid Minerals took time to reel out the achievements of the Renewed Hope agenda in their ministries. Amadine Uyi tells us more. All right, I understand that package will be ready in a bit, but first let's get our guest in to talk a bit about the 1-year anniversary of the Tinubu administration and, of course, his mandates to the ministers and their scorecards. I'm joined by President Ready to Lead Africa, God bless Otubore. God bless, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
How do you assess the impact of ministers on economic growth and development within their respective ministries?
Well, I mean, when you look at the, so far it's been a year of this administration, and of course, it took a while for some of the ministers to be sworn in, and now we've seen some of them giving Nigerians their scorecard, and of course, the president had asked them to, do that. With the different ministers, honestly, a lot of them are, not known by Nigerians. And a lot of their work, I can say that most Nigerians yet don't, see the effect of their performances or their performance. But of course, with, the FCD minister, you have the interior minister, you have the communications and digital economy minister. Those are a bit more out there with what they've done, and Nigerians can assess that. So, but generally, when you say specific ministries, how have they performed? So the question will be, where were we before they came to office, and where are we now? Now that they've been in this position for the last couple of months. I'll speak for Abuja. Abuja has witnessed some level of, development in terms of infrastructure. A lot of abandoned projects have picked up again, and that is definitely something that we can put on the performance of the FCD minister that we have seen. Has security improved? Yes, compared to the way things were before. Of course, there was a time where insecurity was rife in the country's capital. How about the Minister of Interior, we've seen a lot of movement in terms of, how to process international passports, availability of, the paper, or what do we say now, the booklet, to make international passports available to Nigerians, and especially some of the works that have been done within the airports to sort of make traveling a lot easier, both for Nigerians and foreigners. And we can say
so some work, in your view, has been done. And would you say it's a foretell of what to expect in the coming year, or, as we say it in the local palace, initial gra-gra?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a foretell of what to expect or initial gra-gra. For me, I would say it is what they are expected to do. And if were it to be a foretell of the good things to come, it's in their hands. We do not control what they will do. Of course, we have influence as leaders in the civil society space and as citizens. But is it initial gra-gra? We don't know. But of course, if I'm able to call just a few ministers out of over 40 of them, I do not think that we can clearly say, oh, this is a foretell. But of course, a lot of them have not yet brought their scorecard, and Nigerians will continue
just six
to read.
at the moment. Yes, just six at the moment. Absolutely. Just to clarify for our audience, initial gra-gra in local parlance is initial enthusiasm to do something. That was what I basically meant. All right, can you evaluate the extent to which the ministers have engaged the stakeholders, including the public, civil society organizations, and private sector actors, to gather feedback and incorporate into policy formulation and implementation?
Well, for me, really, I would say that from what we've seen, especially with the use of social media, Nigerians are asking more questions now. If we look at from our organization, we are implementing a project right now where we're tracking the promises of 6 state governors across 6 states in Nigeria. And a lot of other institutions are doing similar things in the ministries, budget, tracker, different organizations. And it has led the ministers to be more open, to be more transparent, to engage people. If you look at what Minister Bosun does, which he sort of puts in graphical format his action in the month or in the week, what they've been up to. Tunji Ojo also does that in the Ministry of Interior. That is increased citizens' participation and interest in the process. Is it Uhuru yet? Of course not. Can they do better? Absolutely. So for me, I would say, based on, especially with the Minister of Trade and Investment, I've seen a lot of work that she does with engaging, the media. Tunji Ojo as well does that as well, and Bosun also does that as well. So have they been, what we want? Absolutely not there yet. But do we see movement that government now understand that the people, matter in the governance architecture? Definitely. But of course, I know where we want to be.
Before I let you go, you mentioned a couple of ministers you're impressed by what they're doing. At least they're making attempts. Can you pick one, basically, and based on the performance assessments conducted, what recommendations would you propose to enhance the performance of that particular ministry going forward? Just pick one because of time.
If I should pick one, it's difficult to pick one, but if there's a particular ministry that we must get right, I think the Ministry of Environment, and I think it is important that the Ministry of Environment takes into cognizance how Nigerians live. It's not just about the, look, we need to have solid town planning and landscaping laws revived in Nigeria. We need to ensure that those who build estates, when government build projects, it must be done in a way that it is sustainable. Look, Nigerians are suffering because our societies are currently not designed for human beings. And I'll tell you why. Because the basic thing that makes a society worth living is order, is how beautiful your landscaping is how well planned your society is. So the Ministry of Environment, I want to see that our drainages are cleared every time. Please bring back monthly sanitation. There has to be a sanitation exercise in Nigeria and make sure that it is implemented with nobody above board. So for me, the every other thing, Ministry of Environment has to work well. We need to talk to people who are building. We need to ensure that when people work for Nigeria, when they build roads, when they build, everything that people build in Nigeria, it's important that the fineness, it has to be fine, it has to be nice, it has to be clean. We need to put more street lights, we need to put more drainages, we need to put more pavement so that Nigerians can see that their government care about them. So Minister of Environment, you have not given your scorecard. We are waiting for you and we will be following you bumper to bumper.
All right, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me always.